Yeah, it's Divine Sense Boxing in the building. Hope you guys had a good night. Thanks for dropping by. Hopefully, this will be a quick live stream. I don't plan for it to be a super long one, but I do have something to get off my chest. And before that, let me give a shout out to all the people who made it into the live stream early tonight. First and foremost, we got Omega Red in the building. He was the first one. Appreciate that. Big Dog Willie, salute to you, an official member of the channel. SM, the expert genius. Isaiah B says, I caught the lives this time. What's up, Divine? Salute to you, Isaiah. Glad that you made it. Dwayne Price in the building. And you guys see the title of the live stream. And like I said, I just wanted to get something off my chest. Because, I've been browsing around YouTube and listening to other channels and people getting other people's ideas and thoughts about Canelo and Plant. And it seems like the overwhelmingly majority of people seem to think that Canelo has done nothing wrong. Canelo was protecting his mom. He was standing up for himself. He two-pieced Plant, and Plant's going to get his ass beat. Those are the videos and the comments that I'm reading all across YouTube and social media for that matter. Oh, I know, Big Dog. That's why I just took a drink of water. Lubricate the throat because it may get heated tonight. So wrenches, stand by. May have to put some work in. However, this is open for subscribers only. So unless somebody has subscribed to the channel and has been waiting for this moment, people aren't going to be able to comment. So let's see what happens. Look, before I get into the topic at hand and share some videos with you guys to prove this point, because the title of the video, of course, is Canelo, the Hypocrite Alvarez. And the question at hand is, why did Plant actually slap Canelo, despite the fact that Canelo pushed him? And Plant said himself, like after the press conference was finished, and was telling interviewers that I ain't no punk. You know what I mean? You put your hands on me, you're going to get something in return. So that's just the basic necessities of how a man should conduct himself if someone puts their hands on you. But there's more to it than that on why Plant did what he did. And that's what I'm going to point out tonight in this video to prove all the doubters and haters wrong. There's a reason why I called him Canelo the Hypocrite Alvarez. Now, mind you, I'm going to have to make a prediction / breakdown of this fight. It's a tough one to do. Probably drop it within next week. I usually do it about a month out. About November 6th, right? So around, first week of October. So in about 2 weeks or so, I'm going to drop my prediction / breakdown video. And it'll be an upload, not a live stream like I always do. And make sure you stand by for that. But this is not who's going to win the fight and why. This video is to point out the inconsistencies and the hypocrisy of Canelo Hypocrite Alvarez. Now, make sure that you come in, you guys know the drill, swoop in, hit that like button, get the likes all the way up, and we may or may not get some trolls tonight, so wrenches, stand by. We also have a poll up right here. It says, are you glad Plant stood up against Canelo? So far, most people, as a matter of fact, all the people, 100% has voted yes. So we do have 100% of the people, or voters that is, saying yes, I am glad Plant stood up against Canelo. And that is the point that I've been wanting to make. Nitty G, what's good? An official member of the channel. I see that your badge has been upgraded to the double swords. That means that you have been an official member of the channel now 2 months. I appreciate you. Nitty G in the house. So the point that I wanted to make to the people is that, like I said, this is much deeper than two men who don't like each other and they're going back and forth. They're trying to sell the fight. Caleb Plant has done something that no other opponent of Canelo has done. And that is call him out on his BS and his inconsistencies. There is this weird aura in the air that Canelo is the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's an ambassador of the sport. He's a pound for pound fighter, etc., etc. But yet, he doesn't conduct himself as such. Now, before, if you guys remember with Canelo, right, when he first started making the scene, even up to the point where he fought Mayweather and fights after that, his English was pretty much non-existent. So we didn't know the true character of Canelo because he's always using translators. He was a young guy, when he was fighting Mayweather, still learning the game. Now that he has grown up, I think, what is he, 30, 31? So he's a grown-ass man now. Now he's got his English going. And now he's really developing and creating this character. Now in the media, people are latching onto it like, oh, Canelo's finally speaking English. You're finally showing us who you are. This is great. We love this. Now, I don't mind, the man speaking English. Great. He's able to help promote fights and talk during press conferences and do interviews and stuff like that. It's great for the media. They don't always have to run down translators. That's great. But is it a question of an inflated ego? Because he's acting much different. The past probably 3-4 years or so, he has created this new persona. And lately, from Billy Joe Saunders until now, Caleb Plant, he's a different person, in my opinion. The way he conducts himself, carries himself, the things that he says. And it's okay, right, it's okay if you're confident and you want to represent Mexico with pride. I don't have any problem with that. But there has to be civil discord, right? Basic gentleman uh, behavior that should be displayed as a champion. And here's my thing, and this is the video that I'm about to play here in a minute. And yes, Brendan Jackson, I am going to refer to the Andrade situation because I have to. Andrade didn't come in to his press conference and disrespect Canelo. It's not like he came in there talking about, oh, you didn't win that fight and you got lucky and you ain't nothing, and trying to basically crash his own little celebration. He just came in and asked a simple question, something that many fighters do at other fighters' press conferences and post-fight interviews. It happens all the time. Right? Go back to Keith Thurman and Paula Malignaggi when they had their little tussle at a press conference or post-fight or whatever it was, I don't remember, and they were going back and forth. It happens all the time. Shout out to SM becoming an official member of the channel, man. I appreciate you more than you know. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and rinse you up as well, SM, because you have indeed been a very loyal supporter, and I appreciate you. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and prove my point. Like I said, I don't want to make this a long live stream. I want to make it short and sweet, to the point. A lot of you probably already know this. But I'm going to remind the people all the way in the back. This is not for the people that already know this. This is the people that either know it and are ignoring it, shrugging their shoulders at it, or for the people who maybe haven't thought about it or don't know about it. The thing about it is a lot of people actually do know about this press conference, especially if you're a Canelo fan, because if you're a Canelo fan, you watch every move that he makes. Right? And this little explosion by Canelo, this particular video, has 300,000 views by Fight Hub. But if you go to Fight Hype, the same explosion, different angle, has 4 million views. 4 million. So people are well aware of what happened during this press conference. Fast forward to just a few days ago with Canelo and Caleb Plant. Canelo got upset because Caleb Plant was saying mother effer. And he took that personal. And he's like, don't talk about my mom or whatever have you. So we're about to paint that hypocrisy in beautiful abstract colors right now. Drake Lemonade, what's good? Thanks for dropping by tonight. So what I'm going to do is play the audio because, you know, sometimes these channels, they get their feelings hurt. They try to copyright me, but it's all good. So this is the exchange with Canelo and Andre. Now, again, let me remind people, all Andre did was just show up and ask a simple question. He didn't come in and try to crash his celebration, you know, the victory over Billy Joe Saunders. He didn't come in disrespectful. He came in and said, hey, he actually said, and you'll hear it here in the audio, he says, hey, man, congratulations on the victory, but I'm just wondering, like, when can we get it on? And Canelo was like, get the F out of here, da-da-da-da, and you're going to hear it right here. How is that conducting yourself as a champion? Why is it so hard just to be like, hey, you know, Eddie Hearn is right here. We'll see what's on the table. You know, I appreciate you stopping by, but, you know, I just want to carry on with the questions from the media for my victory tonight. And that's it. And Andre probably would have kept it moving. But that's not what happened. So let's play this audio so you guys get a clear picture of what I'm talking about.
So when can we get something going on?
Oh man.
What's up, congratulations today, though.
Thank you.
Good job, man.
Thank you.
Big fan.
Thank you.
Yeah, so he said, look, I was just wondering when can we get it on? But congratulations, though. Well done. And then he goes on to says, I'm actually a big fan. But real talk, though, like, when can we get it on? That's the only thing that he said. Here comes Phil.
I know that.
When can we make it happen? What do you think?
Man, you fight with nobody.
Okay.
Hey, you are a champion, but are you? What?
Wait, you avoided that.
Hey, you fight with nobody. You won the belt with nobody.
Okay.
So you're going to have to listen closely. He's saying, you have fought nobody. You have fought nobody. Basically, like, you're not on my level. He actually said that to Caleb Plant, too, at the press conference. I don't know if you guys caught that. That's one thing that he wanted to make clear. It was like, yo, Plant, you're not on my level, bro. So listen carefully. Listen carefully to what Canelo says here as he continues to get heated up.
A lot of people have
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Get him out.
Please. Get the fuck out of
Who
here,
you fighting?
man. This is my guy.
Who you fighting? I just asked you a question. I said, who are you here to fight, though?
Get the fuck out of
What
here.
you mean? No, what you saying? Get out of here. Why you fuck you?
So he's saying, get the F out of here, man. Get the F out of here. Get the F out of here. Which, in my opinion, is already borderline disrespect. But, all right, whatever. You want your little moment. Andre's coming in. You feel like he's disrupting it. You don't have much respect for him. Whatever. But this is what I mean. Like, nice and humble Canelo now turning into thug Canelo, Mr. Gangster Canelo, telling people to F off, F off, F off. I mean, whatever. That's is what it is, but it's what he says next, though, where we paint that hypocrisy.
What you saying? Get out of here. Why you fuck you? Yo, don't talk to my dad like that. Why fuck you? We don't get that.
Hey, get the fuck out of here because I'm gonna fuck you up right now, motherfucker.
Y'all catch that? I'm going to F you up right now, mother effer. All right, one more time. Listen closely.
Get the fuck out of here because I'm gonna fuck you up right now, motherfucker. Oh, you got it.
One more time for the people in the back.
I'm gonna fuck you up right now, motherfucker. Now, motherfucker. Oh, you got it. Fuck you up right now, motherfucker.
So y'all heard what he said, right? Get the F out of here right now, mother effer. Or he said, or maybe it was, I'm going to F you up, mother effer, or whatever he said, right? But nonetheless, the key word here is using mother alongside of a expletive, right? Which he held so dearly to his heart when Plant said what he said to him. Is language, right? People say what they say. Canelo takes it personal, obviously, makes that abundantly clear. Canelo says that that's why he pushed Plant, because Plant used that word. But it's not non-existent in Canelo's vocabulary because he just clearly used it against Andre. So y'all heard it for yourself. This is what we're pointing out here. All right? This is what we're pointing out. Now, let's then go to Caleb Plant to remind people on why Canelo got upset and, basically, well, he pushed him. Caleb Plant slapped him. And then Canelo, after watching the tape many times, I actually realized that I think he threw a left hook, which put the glasses into Caleb Plant's eye, which cut his eye. But then he came down open-handed and hit him with the right hand. So they both slapped each other. I don't know why people keep calling it, oh, he two-pieced Caleb Plant up. I mean, it's hard to tell what kind of punch or slap that he threw that knocked his glasses off. We don't know if it was open hand or closed hand, but they both slapped each other, probably because, at the end of the day, even though they're both lit or whatever, they probably don't want to hurt each other or hurt themselves before a big fight. So that's probably why they decided to go open hand on that. But look, y'all heard what Canelo just said to Andre, right? Y'all heard that. I'm going to F you up, mother effer. So we know that it exists in Canelo's vocabulary as well. But here's what he has to say to Caleb Plant when Caleb Plant says it.
Believe in me, I've been doing it my whole life. So mark my words, November 6th, you will hear the words, and the new undisputed super middleweight. The only difference is right after that, you'll hear the words, and still undefeated. Mark my words. That's funny? You think that's funny?
A little bit.
Yeah? Well, keep laughing. You keep laughing, motherfucker, because you know when you're going to find out? Real soon. And you know when you're going to find out? The same time everybody else found out. And you know when that was? Mark my words.
So I heard that, right? Y'all heard that, right? Caleb Plant using the same language that Canelo used to Andre. But then Canelo had a problem with it.
Words. That's funny? You think that's funny?
A little bit.
Yeah? Well, keep laughing. You keep laughing, motherfucker, because you know when you're going to find out? Real soon. And you know when you're going to find out? The same time everybody else found out. And you know when that was? You know when they found out? When it was too late. That's when they found out.
Don't say anything about my mom. Don't say anything about my mom. So, there you guys have it. That's why the title of the live stream is Canelo, Hypocrite, Alvarez. It's not that difficult. Like we always say out here, we don't make this stuff up. We don't. You think that we don't pay attention. The casual fans may not pay attention. But that's why we're here. Content creators that love the sport, that care about the sport. We care about what is said. We care about fighters and how they conduct themselves professionally. Not their personal lives, how they conduct themselves professionally within the sport, which means testing positive for banned substances. We're here as content creators to inform the people who love the sport of boxing. Extracted raw audio, and y'all can find the videos yourself. They're not that hard to find. If you want to see the video, it's simple. Fight Hub has it. Fight Hype has it. A few other, I think Boxing Social has it up. As far as Canelo saying, I'm going to F you up, mother effer, to Andre and his father, right? And most recently, Caleb Plant saying it, and then Canelo took a problem with that language. So this is not stuff that we make up. This is not stuff that we're just trying to attack Canelo because, oh, we're a hater or whatever. There's a reason why people feel the way they do about Canelo. And I find it funny when Plant was asked, "Do you think Canelo is a cheat?" He was asked during the press conference when all of the media and their cameras were zoomed in on Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant, he could have beat around the bush. He could have, given a political answer, which most fighters do. He could have said, "Look, I just don't like drugs being used in the sport. I think fighters can be clean, or they should be clean, rather. And as far as Canelo, I don't want to accuse him of anything or whatever." He could have given a political answer, but instead he said, well, actually, he gave a better answer than just saying, "Yeah, I think he's a cheat." He said, well, did he not get banned for 6 months? The answer was, yes. Okay, then. Didn't he pop positive for a banned substance? Yes, he did. Okay, then. And like Caleb Plant said, it's not a matter of I said, she said, or a matter of speculation. He was banned from the sport for 6 months. He popped positive for an illegal substance. That's it. It's not a question of what I think. You don't got to ask me if I think he's a cheater. He is a cheater. It's as simple as that. Now, look, Moped, what's good? Thanks for dropping by tonight. Now, look, Canelo as a fighter, right, as a boxer, he's got skill. He's got skill. He wouldn't be where he is today without it. Now, some people take it to an extreme, though. They said, well, if he popped once, how long was he taking it? And if he's been taking it for a while, but he just recently was discovered, do we give him credit for all the victories that he's had? Triple G, was he taking it then? We don't know. We don't know. See, that's the problem with taking banned substances. That's the problem, and trying to get away with it. And, they say, oh, it's in the steak. Fury said, oh, it's in the wild boar meat that I ate. Come on, people. Really? And y'all buy into that. That's what's the most sickening. That's what really makes me sick to my stomach. Because y'all buy into that. Oh, I ate a lot of steak. Come on, man. Look, like Plant and many others who speak out against, and Plant's not the only one. It's just that Plant is taking it to another level on Twitter, Instagram, in person, in interviews, press conferences. He's just straight up attacking cheaters. And obviously Canelo in this instance, because he's about to fight Canelo. But there are other boxers who have spoken out against it as well. Plant's not the only one. But this is the big issue with it, right? Because check this out. I've said this before, but I'll remind people who maybe haven't heard me put this point out there. Y'all remember when Sugar Shane Mosley was caught taking, I believe at the time was EPOs, right? Remember that? And the media absolutely shredded this man into pieces, calling him all kinds of damn cheaters. And, the victory against Oscar De La Hoya should be a no contest. Sugar Shane Mosley had to go to court and basically plead to the judge, like, don't ban me from the sport indefinitely, because that was the conversation at hand. That's how upset people were at Sugar Shane Mosley. So then you get Canelo, who gets a 6-month ban or whatever, which is basically a slap on the wrist, man. Because why? Because fighters only fight once, maybe twice a year. It's not like fighters back in the day, they're fighting 5, 6, 7 times a year, right? So it's not like you're missing out on that much. Then a man in the same camp as you, Oscar Valdez, he pops too, but the fight continues. No punishment. And then he wins a very controversial decision, which I felt personally that he lost. Convincingly lost. On my scorecard, wasn't close. So you guys see the problem with this, right? I hope you see it. What's up, Razor? Razor says, send the video to Plant. Which video you talking about, bro? Which video you talking about? So you guys see the problem, I hope, with this situation. Now, since we're still on this, let me go ahead and play a little bit more of this audio from Plant, man, because forget about the theatrics. Forget about the fact that they went face to face and Canelo pushed him and he slapped him and then Canelo retaliated. Like, forget that. That's fine. It helps sell the fight. Entertaining. Cool. But what really matters here is you gotta shed away all the fat and get straight to the meat. And the fact that Plant is saying, hey, I'm putting my foot down. People don't like it. I don't care. And it's not that. See, the thing is, people cringe, but they cringe because it's the truth. The whole media is cringing when this man says, the man's a cheater. And what people have to understand is not like he's saying something that is an accusation. No, it's proven fact. That's the problem. And that's why the media cringe at it. Now, they tried to put Caleb Plant in a corner. They tried to see if he would fold or not. They tried to call his bluff. And that's exactly why at the press conference, they asked him, hey, do you think Canelo's a cheater or not? And I love Caleb Plant's answer. He said, hey, it is not a matter of what I think. Look at the facts. Did he get banned? Yes. Did he pop positive for a banned substance? Yes. Case closed. He's a cheater. Thank you. Thank you. So the media and Canelo fans, they can cringe all they want at what Plant is saying. Now, let's take a quick pause and think about this as well. Canelo fans don't want to hear this. They don't want to revisit that blemish. They don't want to revisit that dark spot, the dark clouds above Canelo Alvarez in his career. When it's all said and done and the history books are written, will people bring it up? Only diehard boxing fans will. Not the casuals. They won't ever bring up the fact that he popped positive once upon a time in the sport of boxing. That's unfortunate. Most people don't know that Sugar Shane was involved in that either. But, I'm a diehard boxing fan. I remember it. But if Caleb Plant somehow pulls off this victory, it's a victory on so many levels. So many levels. But even if he loses, he still wins. In my opinion. He's already won. Now, he still needs to go out there and get the job done. He needs to, he has to do a little bit of practicing what he preaches as well. I believe that he's done a very positive thing to shed light on a renowned cheater. But, he's got to go out there and put that work in, and I believe he will. Rather he wins or not is another matter. And I saw somebody ask me earlier, who do I have winning? Well, you're all going to have to stand by and wait for my prediction video to drop. SM says, the problem lies dear because Oh, sorry. The problem lies deeper because no matter what Canelo does, the powers that be in the sport and old meat are going to back him. Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Except for Divine Sense Boxing and others out here speaking up against it. They can't fool us. And that's why people that are tuned into this video right now, that's why you listen to me and other channels out here who speak out against it, because you guys love the sport and you guys want the sport to be clean. But this is why I was proud of Caleb and I will be rooting for Caleb. Despite what I have as far as a prediction, who wins this fight, I will be rooting for Caleb Plant.
And that's exactly when you're going to find out. Mark my words, you bitch. And you a bitch too. You know the only difference between you and him is he's a fat ass bitch and you a bitch. What the fuck you gonna do? Fuck you. And you a drug cheat. And you a drug cheat. So tell me something. Tell me something. Oscar Valdez can pop positive for something and not get suspended for 6 months, but he can pop positive for something and get suspended for 6 months, but somehow he ain't a drug cheat.
Before the
You're
fight.
a cheater.
Don't make
You're a
excuses
cheater.
before
You
the
went to
fight.
trial. You got suspended for 6 months.
Say,
You're a
say
cheater.
whatever you say.
Fuck you.
See you November
Fuck
6th.
you. Suck my dick.
You're gonna see something special on you.
Yeah, you gonna
I
see.
feel.
And y'all can tell how Caleb is really upset. Like he takes this very seriously. I don't think he's doing this to try to, hype it up or whatever. I feel like it's something that is deeply engraved in him, and he feels like, cheating in the sport shouldn't be tolerated. And you can feel that that emotion in his voice, and that's what I respect. You know what I mean? And another thing is that Canelo has nothing to say about it, except for don't make excuses. Don't make excuses. Well, he's not making an excuse. He's saying that you're a cheater. What do you got to say about that? Obviously, nothing. And then top it off, Reynoso, his disgraceful ass sitting there, he's got nothing to say either, except calling everybody a bunch of, bitches and whatever else he said. He had his little soapbox moment where all he did is just criticize the media and all the haters, but they got nothing to say. That's the problem. And Reynoso, ¿qué pasó? Because you have people in your camp, not only Canelo, who was under suspicion for a lot of different things. Where the hell is Ryan Garcia at? The man hasn't been in the ring in almost a year. Why isn't Ryan Garcia fighting anybody? Why haven't I seen any rumblings from Ryan Garcia? You got Devin Haney out there basically being disrespected on the daily, and somehow Ryan Garcia, Oscar Valdez, Canelo Alvarez, and that whole camp is somehow invisible to criticism. But like I said, not here in Divine Sense Boxing. Oh no. Oh no. Keith White, what's good, man? I appreciate you, and I appreciate the super chat, bro. Thank you. I respect that mightily. Thank you for that. It's just about speaking the truth, bro. That's it. That's it. Like, we can talk about boxing whenever, however, all day, every day, because that's what I really want to talk about. But why are we continuing to be tainted as boxing fans, like real boxing fans? It becomes, the sport of boxing becomes tainted, and real boxing fans suffer. Now, at some point, like I said, I will come on here and I'll give my prediction. Anytime I do a prediction, I leave emotion to the side. I don't do predictions because I like a certain fighter. I have no problem saying, hey, I hope Plant wins. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to pick Plant, even though Plant has a chance. But I have to break it down honestly. sometimes I'm a fan of a fighter who I think will win as well. For example, Wilder. I'm a fan of Wilder, and I think he's going to knock out Fury. Then you have instances where you have Usyk and Joshua. I'm unbiased in that one because I'm not a fan of either one of them, but I still break down the fight. Herring and Stevenson coming up. I'm not really a fan of either one of them because I don't really follow their careers that closely. So I break down the fight. Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter. I'm more of an Earl Spence fan than those two. So once again, break down the fight, give you guys my prediction. But that's what I do. I don't let emotions cloud my judgment when it comes to breaking down and looking at the sport of boxing from objective angles. But predictions and breakdowns to the side, I'm going to call an ace and a spade. I'm going to bring out what needs to be brought out. And what people need to understand when it comes to Caleb Plant, the things that he's saying, the things that he's doing, again, people are cringing at it because they don't want to hear it. They just want, hey, don't talk about that, man. Let's just wait for the fight. Well, the fight is on the horizon regardless. We're going to get that fight, right? November 6th. But in the meantime, we have a cheater being exposed. Nobody else is willing to do it. Nobody else is willing to stand up on a podium when all the media is there and say what they want to say. I feel like you got to give credit when credit's due. Because Caleb Plant is not only representing himself and trying to prove the doubters wrong on his own behalf to become the first undisputed super middleweight champion, but also to point out the cheater. And as far as we know, Canelo can be the chief of that camp, of Reynoso's camp. He can be the chief of it, the chief orchestrator. Because didn't Oscar Valdez pop after Canelo popped? We don't know these things. See, that's the problem. You leave room for speculation because you're not a clean fighter. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say for this video. I didn't plan on being a long live stream. But I just wanted to point out the hypocrisy. That's why it's Canelo, Hypocrisy, Alvarez. If you guys missed the early part of the live stream, you guys can check it out later. It'll be uploaded on the channel. But I brought up the press conference at Canelo's press conference after he beat Billy Joe Saunders. Andre showed up and he told, and I already played the audio, he told Andre, I will F you up, mother effer. When Andre was going there to be respectful and just ask a simple question. When can we get it on? Fighters do it all the time. So Canelo has that vocabulary in his language now, his newly found English language. Then when he faces off Plant uses that language and then he takes an offense to it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is hypocrisy at its finest. Simple as that. Call it what you want to call it. You can ignore it and just say, oh, come on, Devon, man, let's just talk about the fight. We're going to talk about it. But first comes first, and that is hypocrisy. And I call it how I see it. So that's pretty much my feelings and my thoughts on that. I wanted to point that out. For those who did drop by to the live stream tonight, I appreciate you. Make sure that you've already hit that like button. And I will be on here Saturday night. I've got a panel for you on standby. It's going to be nothing but fire. You guys remember how last Saturday went, right? Firestorm last Saturday. Y'all were witnesses to that. So another episode of that coming up this Saturday. Make sure you tune in. Put it on your calendar. Make sure you're free this Saturday night. We're going to kick it off 9 p.m. Eastern time. That's 6 p.m. Pacific time. Make sure you tune in. We'll go live for at least a couple hours. You will not want to miss it live. All right, guys, I appreciate you, man. I'm going to jump up out of here. I'm going to go see if Stormy B is still going live, because I might join him for a moment. But in the meantime, y'all stay up, be safe, be strong, be positive, and I'll be back here soon enough. Appreciate you. Peace.